Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a watch launched in 2018, the Polaris, historically a diving alarm from Jaeger-LeCoultre, and then later a re-edition diving alarm, became a full model line in 2018, and this is the Polaris Chronograph. So from Jaeger-LeCoultre of Le Sentier comes a watch that's 42 millimeters in diameter in stainless steel, but only 12 millimeters thick. From lug to lug, you can see it's 48.6 millimeters, but if we add the end links to the bracelet, it's a beefier 50.5 millimeters across the wrist with a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Throwing the watch on my wrist, you can see it is a comfortable and relatively flat watch. The lug shape helps it to wrap around your wrist, so I'd recommend it for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters in circumference, and it easily fits underneath a cuff. No problems there. Taking a look at the bracelet, it's nicely made. It has a conforming end link to better integrate it into the case. We have H-shaped polished primary links and then satinated center links. You could see that a combination of pins and sleeves are used to fix these removable links. So you'll need a block and punch if you want to size this, but many removable links means excellent fine-tuning of the fit. Now taking a quick look at the clasp, this is a long-running JLC design. You can see there's a 2.5 millimeter in and out tool-free easy adjustment, much like Rolex's Easy Link, and there's one of those on each side of the clasp, so you have a little bit of incremental adjustability to tune on the fly without a tool. The clasp itself is a double fold with quadruple trigger release, so you have to press all four of them to fully deploy the clasp. That's a lot of security on the wrist. Taking a look at the case, you can see that the case design and bezel design are drawn from the 1965 to 1970 Polaris E859 diving alarm, and the dial is drawn most directly from the 1968 to 1970 definitive version of that watch. So the lugs are stepped out a bit. There's all satin in profile. The bezel is very shallow, stepped, and polished. And then we have an expanding polished bevel with squared off lug ends. We have rectangular pushers. You can see they have a little bit of an outline on their facing. They're polished externally, and we have a crown with knurling in satin and polish on the side and a JL logo on its outer face. The dial features several different finishes. We have a matte finish outboard. We have a very fine granular finish underneath the hour track. Note all of the indices as well as numerals and logo are appliqué. At the center, we have a matte finish again, and then we have a very shallow set of sunken registers with a concentric pattern in each. Now note we have chronograph seconds, chronograph minutes, and chronograph hours. When the chronograph's not running, this is a very still dial. So because it is a vertical clutch chronograph, you can actually run it full time and there's no wear and tear. So if you just want to run your chrono full time to have a lively dial, you can keep it in motion. You'll also appreciate that there's a tachymeter scale outboard that can be used along with the chronograph to gauge the speed of an object, such as a car over a kilometer. The watch has a vertical clutch, which we mentioned earlier because it allows you to leave the chrono running, but the vertical clutch also ensures a very smooth jump and stagger-free engagement of the chrono. Because it's a column wheel chronograph, you also get a very crisp feel and sound. And if you wish to pull the crown out and set the watch precisely, you activate a hacking or stop seconds function that allows you to precisely synchronize against a reference time. Now you can see right here, we have a semi-instantaneous jump chronograph. That's a nice refinement. So it's always bang on the index and easy to read. Taking a look at the case back, you can see the watch is 100 meters water resistant, and it goes through the 1,000 hours control. The 1,000 hours control was inaugurated 30 years ago. It was the first in-house test in Switzerland that went far beyond the COSC. Yes, it's a chronometry test, but it's also a test of winding efficiency, power reserve, shock resistance, water resistance, and rather than just 2 weeks of testing, we get over 40 days of testing with the 1,000 hours control. The movement is, I'll get as close as we can here, it's caliber 751, based on the automatic in-house chronograph movement that JLC launched back in the early 2000s, I think 2004 1904 might have been year one for this movement. You can see the column wheel is visible and polished and quite attractive. We have a blackened tungsten rotor. It's a unidirectional winder with ceramic rotor bearings for maximum winding efficiency. It's a twin barrel movement. It has a 65-hour power reserve, but the twin barrels have another function, not just a long reserve. They make for a more even torque release. So after 24 or 48 hours, you don't have the big variation in balance amplitude that you get on a single barrel watch. We also have a beat rate of 4 hertz or 8 beats per second. This movement, which is a 37 joule movement, beats away at 4 hertz, and the balance is free sprung, so it can take and hold a precise adjustment, and it's more shock tolerant because of that free sprung architecture. There's a lot to love with this movement, and it's been used in high horology watches from other members of the Richemont group. So it is a tried and true haute horlogerie chronograph made by Jaeger-LeCoultre, the watchmaker's watchmaker. So named because, well, nicknamed I should say, because for many years they supplied movements to many within the industry, so they were literally the watchmaker's watchmaker. Plenty of lume, it is the image of the Polaris 68. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing details.